Madam Secretary, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to see you.
I'm so glad to be here.
Stronger than expected jobs report again.
4 months in a row.
4 months in a row. The charge this time being led by state and local governments. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is, as a former mayor, the closest to the people, if we're talking about any government jobs, I think is okay. But what we're seeing is the private sector jobs, we're going to see that uptick too. We've seen it in the past few months. We're going to see it again. This is an exciting time to cut these federal public jobs. So if we're going to have the local and state jobs take up a little bit closest to people, I think that's okay too.
To your point, we saw the state and local government jobs increase, federal jobs coming down. Private sector jobs, though, kind of holding in place. And we've been hearing from employers who are sort of holding their hiring plans in place because there's uncertainty over what effective tariff rates may be, immigration. Could we see stronger job growth if we saw some of that uncertainty lift?
Well, always uncertainty causes a pause. But the president has done a wonderful job in these tariff talks, in this time of growing the America's economy. It's going to take some time, but he has leaned in on his executive orders. I mean, one of the directions by all of the agencies is to lean in on the workforce. So the Department of Labor, I get to do that. 1 million active apprentices, that's going to solve the growth in that manufacturing sector. But we saw construction tick up. We saw healthcare tick up. We've seen many of the jobs. I mean, I still think plus 70,000 in private sector. That's going to continue to grow as well.
Have you been hearing these concerns in your travels across the country from employers about uncertainty around tariffs at all?
Actually, it's the excitement that I've been hearing. I have been on the ground for the last 2 weeks. I was just in Indiana. I was just in Michigan. I've been to Montana. These are exciting times for business owners. Certainly, again, as I said, it's going to take some time, but they see the power of this president leading the way. They see that we're deployed on the ground to assist them. If I can do any sort of investment or innovation in workforce development, that's what they're wanting to see, that we are all leaning in. And so I'm talking about the apprenticeship program. I want those workers skilled and upskilled. I'm working with our community colleges, our career and technical education schools, centers of excellence. Businesses are investing in that as well. So they're seeing that workforce come online. We're going to see that change in the next several months. I would imagine you're going to start to see, if things loosen up for these businesses, you're going to see those investments right on the ground. And with this bill that's on the Hill that we are waiting to see passed, I couldn't tell you, my former colleagues, I'm leaning into them to say, this is doubling down. This is enlisting them to do their job and assist the president so that these businesses have that certainty to invest.
We are closely watching the House floor here, expecting a final vote for final passage on that big, beautiful tax bill. And like you said, you've been out talking to employers across the country over the past week. What have you been hearing from them specifically on the tax bill and how it could impact their hiring plans?
Well, one of the things that we've talked to, just think about the no tax on overtime. There are so many American workers who want to have the opportunity to keep more of their hard-earned dollars. So no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, making sure that we can give them the suite of benefits that they want to offer to their employees. That's what we're going to see. Think about, we cannot afford a tax hike. If they don't pass this bill, that's exactly what the Democrats are going to deliver to the American people, is a tax hike. And so Republicans can get this bill done. This is what the president has asked us to do. We've leaned in. We're ready to go to get those workers skilled and on the line in order to grow the American economy.
And how quickly, assuming this tax bill does pass and the president signs it into law
as soon as the minority leader gets off of his soapbox, they can get it passed. That's what we're wanting to do. They have been on the floor all night. They've been on the floor this morning. They're ready to pass this bill. Let's get it done.
How many jobs could we see created as a result of this tax bill, and how quickly could we see businesses pivot?
Well, I think it's alleviating that uncertainty so that they can invest. I mean, we're hearing one of the things that people are missing is that skilled workforce. And so it's the training, the upskilling, getting the dollars, make America skilled again. Can you imagine if this bill passes and I can deliver block grants to these states so they can invest in their workforce? Those jobs numbers will tick up and they'll have that workforce ready to go. That's what they're asking for. Market demands to be delivered through this workforce. That's what's going to need this bill to get done.
Switching gears a little bit, I understand you're trying to make it easier for employers to hire temporary migrant workers for sectors like agriculture, farming, hospitality, amidst deportations from the administration and some concerns on parts of businesses that operate in this sector that they could see a shortage of labor supply. Can you tell us about those efforts? Also hearing there may be possibly the establishment of an emergency agency within the Labor Department that could issue temporary work permits? How would that work?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that you touched on. First of all, what we're seeing in these numbers is American-born, or what is the job numbers that are being created. So the president secured the border. We're seeing American-born take on these jobs, but there are still some jobs that our workforce is still in need of, and that is pertaining to agriculture, our H-2A and H-2B visas. That comes through the Department of Labor. So what I have created and asked for is the Office of Immigration Policy, really a sub-agency within the Secretary's office to deliver more of a concierge-style approach so they can get those on-demand workers when they need it in their respective seasons. And we're seeing seasons, they're different in every state. The one-size-fits-all doesn't always work. They needed that assistance so that we can make sure we can get them the workers that they need to, deliver the products that are needed. And a lot of times that's, food security is national security. You hear the president talk about that. So we want to assist them in doing so. And that's going to come right through the Department of Labor.
And just to clarify, businesses are concerned, will they be penalized at all for hiring undocumented migrants at some point eventually or not?
Well, legal immigration is what is important here, but we need the workforce. We already have this program in place. This isn't anything new. We just want it more modernized, more efficient, more affordable. That's what the American business owner is asking us to do, and that's going to be delivered through this Office of Immigration Policy right here in the Department of Labor.
Madam Secretary, we'll have to leave the conversation there, but thank you so much, as always, for your insight, and a very happy 4th of July to you and your family.
Great. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to be spending it right here in the nation's capital and celebrate this 4th of July. It's going to be a great year for the American people.